Hi, I'm Jerry Maynard, publisher of the new magazine, The Nashville Voice, where you can see it on thevoicenashville.com. I'm so excited to have as our special guest Mayor Megan Berry, who is my dear friend, who I served on the council with for 8 years.
I know, it's hard to believe.
She was a councilwoman at large and had the #1 seat. I was over in the corner somewhere. And
we were close.
We did the best that we could.
We did.
And helping this city grow. Megan, welcome to the show, and thank you so much.
Hey, congratulations on your new adventure here. I think Nashville needs a voice.
Yeah.
And that's great.
The city is an international city right now.
Yeah.
And the city is changing dramatically, and people are moving from all over the place.
Yes.
We need to make sure that we have a media outlet that deals with urban issues and is not afraid to talk about urban issues
Absolutely.
and those things that are affecting us. And
Agreed.
so we want to be that voice, and we want Curtis community, Hispanic community, the gay community, African Americans, white, everybody to have a voice, and so that we have a media outlet to cover that.
I love that.
And
That's
I appreciate
awesome.
you. And I know that's what you value.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know that's how you lead.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the United States Senate has just passed major legislation, billions of dollars in funding to deal with the opiate crises.
Right.
Why don't you talk about your leadership, your personal story, and why this is important?
Sure. So, I do have a personal story, and I think that it's important to share it because I think that my story is just one of thousands of stories. But as many of your listeners may know, Max, my son, passed away over a year ago. He died of an overdose, and he's another statistic. In Tennessee last year, we had 1,776 people who died of overdoses, and nationally, that number's over 75,000.
Wow.
So we are in a crisis. So I was really pleased to see that the government at the federal level has decided to take a huge step, invest dollars, put money into treatment, and to move that needle, because that's what it's going to take.
Now, fentanyl.
Yeah.
Talk about, a lot of people they say opioids, they don't know what an opioid is.
Right.
So, but I understand the ingredient of fentanyl is the major culprit, if you will, and leading to the deaths of so many thousands of Americans.
Right. So what you have often in this crisis is you get a prescription from a doctor that is some kind of an opioid, hydrocodone, Oxycontin. You go and get your wisdom teeth out. Your 18-year-old kid does that, or you have your knee replaced, and they're handing you a script, and that usually contains an opioid in that to help you get through that pain, and they're highly addictive. And so what happens is people take them, and then if they have a propensity to become addicted, it's very likely that they will be. And opioids are expensive. Right. So what you then see is a transition, if you're an addict, to heroin. Oh, wow. And so heroin has become now the drug of choice because it's cheaper. Right. And what you see on the street with heroin is that it oftentimes gets cut with fentanyl. And those fentanyl grains, it doesn't take much to kill you. Okay. And you just don't know what you're getting. And so I sat down with a DEA agent a couple months ago who explained to me, you take heroin, you take fentanyl, you combine it, you cut it with this binder, you take a stamp, you stamp it with the code that looks like it's a hydrocodone or an Oxycontin. Right. I take a pill, you take a pill, yours has got more fentanyl in yours, mine has a little bit, you die, I don't.
Wow. Wow.
And so, fentanyl is a huge thing.
Now, a lot of people who will see us on this video will ask the question, why didn't the government have the same response regarding crack cocaine when we had an epidemic in the 80s to see that addiction was a healthcare issue?
Absolutely.
Just like this addiction epidemic is a healthcare. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I completely agree. And I think that all you have to do is look at historically how we have treated underserved communities with access to healthcare, period. Right. And so this is a health crisis for all communities, but this is just the latest crisis. Okay. We've absolutely had health crises in our African American communities, our Latino communities before that went unaddressed. Right. Why? Because they didn't have a voice, Jerry. And guess what? You're giving them one. Right.
So then as we talk about what the Senate has done, we know that Tennessee, in particular, this state has been hit very, very hard. What are you doing? What can we do in order to deal with this issue? I know that there are times that you said there are symptoms or there may be signs, so that someone can take some action steps to make sure their family member, if they do see it, they can intervene.
Yeah. Well, I think that one of the first things that you can do, especially anybody who's ever had a prescription drug, just go to your medicine cabinet, open it up. What's in there? Wow. And take it out. And if you're not using it, take it out and get rid of it. There are places you can drop. Oftentimes, CVS does a big drop. You can take it to any police precinct and drop it. Just get it out of your house, because it might not be your kid
Right.
or your, or your family member, but somebody comes into your house and opens it up and finds it. So that's a really easy way to just start. And then if you see somebody in your family experiencing these symptoms of addiction, there are resources, but they are slim, and that is one of the things that we need to address. It still is about who has access
Right.
and who has money,
Right.
who gets treatment.
Wow. Well, the good thing, because I look at from tragedy, sometimes you can have progress.
Sure.
One of the good things is now that we've got persons who were of a conservative bent.
Yeah.
Now we'll look at criminal justice reform
Yeah.
because they see the impact on the entire community.
Right.
Now they see the opiate addiction and the epidemic, and now they see it as a healthcare issue,
Right.
not something just to punish.
Right.
So you see both the criminal justice reform and healthcare, identifying addiction as a healthcare issue.
Yep.
Maybe one day we can all come together and treat this for what it is, as opposed to treating it as a criminal, lock them up.
I agree, and I think that is our next challenge, because it coexists. And the
Right.
thing is, if you have somebody who's experiencing addiction, well, and I think the best analogy I've ever heard is this one. If you're diagnosed with cancer tomorrow, there are a whole lot of people in this community who are going to show up with a casserole,
Right, right,
and
right.
they're going to be there for you,
Right.
and they're going to pray for you,
Right.
and they are never going to say to you, if you just have enough faith, or
Right.
if you just can
Right.
pull yourself up by your bootstraps,
Right.
or
Or
if you
just
just have
stop.
enough, or just stop, or have
Right.
enough willpower, that cancer's
Right.
going to go away.
Right.
This is a disease,
Right.
and we got to treat it like one.
Well, I'm here with Megan Berry. We're so glad that you joined us on
Thanks,
the
Jerry.
Nashville Voice, and we look forward to talking to you later. Thank you, Megan.
Thanks, Jerry. Good to see you.
Mwah.